Welcome to episode 2 of Leaders Built Different, the weight of command, leadership lessons from the battlefield. Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it. General Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now, that's a line that cuts straight to the heart of what leadership really is. It's not about power, it's not about title, it's about influence, it's about purpose. See, leadership on a battlefield means carrying weight of lives, mission, and morale on your shoulders. Unlike in business, failure out there doesn't cost quarterly reports. It costs blood. Sometimes the mission must come first, but that doesn't mean we throw away the struggles, conflicts, or turmoils of the people we're leading. Leadership isn't a title, it's a responsibility. It's the ability to move people not just with authority, but with integrity, with example, and with purpose. And today I want to take you back to the moment that tested those principles under fire. A night when chaos, fire, and even the desert itself forced Marines to show what leadership is truly made of. It was a night in September. 15 Taliban fighters wearing stolen U.S. Army uniforms infiltrated Camp Bastion in Helmand Province, Afghanistan. This wasn't a suicide mission. This was calculated. Their intent was to destroy aircraft, cripple operations, and kill Marines. Within minutes, RPGs and small arms fire ignited fuel bladders, and aircraft jets and helicopters worth of hundreds of millions of dollars went up in flames. And then nature decided to pile on. A massive haboob, a desert storm, swept across the base. Imagine this. Flames lighting up the night sky, explosions shaking the ground, and smoke and dust mixing into a choking wall of darkness. You couldn't barely breathe. You couldn't tell friend from foe. Visibility was almost nothing. And yet the Marines did what Marines do. Aviation mechanics dropped their wrenches, pilots grabbed rifles, cooks left their kitchens. Everyone became infantry. Shoulder to shoulder, they fought through confusion and fire to hold the line. I'll never forget one Marine. His name escapes me tonight, but this crazy double dog stole a Humvee just to get us to the fight faster. Reckless? Maybe. Against orders? Probably. But that moment, it was exactly what we needed. Boldness, speed, and refusal to let chaos win. That night, one truth burned itself into my memory. Complacency kills. On the battlefield, it costs lives. Off the battlefield, it looks like poor employee retention, missed opportunities, failed customer trust, and more. The Taliban didn't hit the British side of the base. They targeted ours. Someone else's complacency left us exposed. But our Marines, they were ready for anything at any time. And that's where the first principles of leadership show up. Your actions, your attitude, and your behavior. Leadership starts there. Titles mean nothing if you don't back them up. In the Marine Corps, we have a saying: if two Marines of the same rank are in a room, one of those Marines has to lead. That wasn't just a cute phrase. That was survival. Small unit leadership was drilled into us day after day. Drive, determination, decisiveness. Those weren't suggestions. They were lifelines. We trained and retrained so that when the moment came, we didn't freeze. We acted. Leadership demanded we step forward, not stand idle, even when it was uncomfortable, even when it was dangerous. The Bastion raid reminds us that something vital. Leaders carry the burden of decision in real time, not in theory, but not in hindsight, but in the chaos of the moment. Higher command faced accountability afterward, but in the middle of the fight, it was the lance corporals, the sergeants, the captains who embodied true leadership. They didn't wait. They improvised. They stood their ground and protected each other. And that's where two more principles come alive: your drive and your integrity. Leadership means having the drive to keep moving forward and the integrity to make decisions that protect your people, even when no one's watching, even when it costs you. Now let's bring this forward to today. Most of us aren't dodging RPGs or fighting in dust storms, but let's be honest, our workplaces, our businesses, our communities, they face their own kinds of ambushes. Budget cuts, sudden turnover, public emergencies. Crises don't just come without warning labels. They hit fast and they hit hard. And when they do, titles don't save you. Fancy org charts don't save you. Leadership does. And leadership looks like adaptability, calm, empowerment. Leaders today must prepare their teams the way Marines prepare for battle, not with roughness of boot camp, but with the same mindset. Prepare for every possible outcome. Because if you train people for their exact job description, they'll break under pressure. And here's where empathy and example matter. Empathy is about knowing your people, understanding their fears, their struggles, their blind spots. Example isn't about modeling their behavior you want to see. Resilience comes in many forms. Sometimes it's bouncing back after a poor evaluation. Other times it's getting laid off and rebuilding from scratch. And in practical terms, resilience looks like this: keeping your resume sharp, keeping your references current, always networking, always learning. It's staying ready so you don't have to get ready. I was listening to Patrick Bet David on the PBD podcast recently, and he said something that really struck me. Too many people hold onto their jobs so tightly that they never teach anyone else how to do them. Maybe it's pride, maybe it's fear, but there's the irony. When nobody else can fill your shoes, you're stuck in them. You've built yourself into a corner with no room to grow. True leadership doesn't hoard knowledge, they multiply it. They prepare others to lead. They build capacity, and when crisis strikes, that preparation is what keeps the mission alive. Here's the hard truth about Camp Bastion. Before the raid, political decisions had scaled back security. Leadership at the top left gaps that should have never existed. The base was more vulnerable than it should have been. And yet, when the storm hit, courage filled the gap. Marines didn't wait for permission. They didn't ask for perfect resources. They acted. They improvised. They fought through fear, fire, and dust. They held the line. That's the final leadership principle right there. Earning your team's respect. Respect doesn't come from title. It comes from integrity under fire. It comes from standing shoulder to shoulder with your people, showing them that no matter what, you won't abandon them. So let's bring it all down to earth. Here's 3 practical takeaways you can apply this week. Check your actions and behaviors. Ask yourself, do my actions match my words? Do my behaviors build trust or break it? Titles fade, but behaviors linger. Lead with empathy and example. Don't just direct, show, model, and understand your people's struggles and walk with them. Protect integrity and respect. Own the failures as leaders, but give victories to your team. Courage, clarity, and conviction, those are contagious. And when you model them, you earn the one thing no title can buy: respect. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Leaders Built Different. If today's story gave you something to think about, please like, share, subscribe. That simple act helps us reach more leaders who want to grow, who want to lead better, who want to be built different. And remember, your title doesn't make you a leader. Your actions, your attitude, your behavior, your drive, your empathy, your example, and your integrity do. When you put those together, you earn the one thing that matters most: your team's respect. Join me next week on episode 3 of Leading Through Chaos, Turning Setbacks into Strategy. Until then, remember, lead with purpose, lead with courage, and remember, leaders are built different. Good night.